This is Block 7, The Greatest Generation, with the section on costs. The Second World War was the deadliest war in all of human history by far. And to go through a list of the countries and their casualties really boggles the mind. So let's do it a little bit. And remember, like any war that we talk about, each one of these numbers is an individual human life, like yours, with hopes and dreams and fears and pasts and futures and people they loved. And so please try to keep that in mind anytime you study any sort of conflict, especially one as vast as the Second World War.
Okay. You're here too?
Yeah, I'll be out in a few minutes. China suffered incredibly. China suffered 3 to 4 million military dead and anywhere from 10 to 20 million civilian dead killed in the Chinese war against Japan. When you don't even know how many people died, 10 million or 20 million, the fact that you've lost 10 million souls tells you all you need to know about the terrible fighting that took place in China. France, even though France did not last very long in the war, over 200,000 dead soldiers and 350,000 dead civilians. Germany, who had started it all, 5.5 million war dead, anywhere from 1 to 3 million civilians killed, mostly in the bombing. Italy, 300,000 dead, 150,000 civilian dead. Japan, over 2 million military dead, up to 1 million civilian dead. Poland, in its 2.5-week war, 250,000 military dead, and 5.4 million Polish citizens, both Poles and Jews, killed. The Soviet Union, anywhere up to 10.7 million dead soldiers, anywhere to 14.5 million dead civilians. That is an average, if you work out the numbers, from the day of Operation Barbarossa began to the day that Germany surrendered. That's an average of 50,000 dead a day in the Soviet Union. Great Britain, including the Empire, 383,000 dead, 67,000 civilians. And the United States got off pretty light, 416,800 military dead. Very few civilians. Most of the civilians killed were kind of civilians in the Philippines at the beginning of the war. There was anywhere from 22.4 to 25.4 million military casualties and 37.5 to 54.6 million civilian casualties, up to 78 million people killed due to the Second World War. That's about 3 or 4% of the entire population of the world. Not only were lives lost, but the economies of the entire European continent and Japan were ruined. Every single German city was ruined. Every single Japanese city was rubble. Every square mile of the European Soviet Union was damaged. East Prussia, the heart of ancient Germany, literally had no Germans left in it. Literally. They were either killed or they fled westward, driven there by the Soviet army. East Prussia, which had been the heart of German culture for 1,000 years, wasn't German anymore, and there are no Germans there to this very day. Communist insurrections plagued France, Greece, and Italy. Great Britain, who had been the leader of the world for 150 years, had won, but had exhausted and bankrupted itself and its empire. $5 trillion had been spent on the war. Only one country came out stronger, and that was the United States. Her armed forces were second to none. Her economy produced 50% of the world's goods. Of every $2 produced by the world, one of those dollars came from the United States. After World War I, the United States had retreated from global responsibility. But after World War II, the American people were ready to pick up the mantle of global leadership.